Okay, we are reviewing for Chapter 3 test, so we're just going to go over the 2 quizzes. That's what's going to be on the test. So study the 2 quizzes. If you know how to do the problems on the 2 quizzes, you'll know how to do the problems on the test. Problems on the test might be different numbers, right? But they're going to look pretty much the same, Here's the first quiz. I'm going to do the second quiz first because I think we might have, I don't know if we went over this quiz after I passed it back or not, but I'm going to do the most recent one first. Is that all right? So I'm going to scooch down to here. So 3-5. I am recording this. I said, stood up there before. I said, tell all your friends I'm recording this. All right. And I always record a review for a test. All right. Let's do this. Here we go. It says find the x and y intercepts. Most of you got the general idea. Most of you did not write the answer the way I want you to write the answer. All right. Maybe I didn't harp on it enough, but I'll show you the correct way. A couple of you did, but some did not. Anyway, how do you find the x-intercept? What do? You set what? The y equal to 0. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this equation. Now I'm going to talk and do these fairly quickly, all right? But it's being recorded, so you can always go back, pause it, right? I say my thing, you pause it, think about it, let it process. Maybe you try it yourself, okay? That's what I would do. If I were you, this is the best way to study for a test. Everybody watching? You got the video right here. I haven't done this yet. So what I would do is I would stop and pause it right now. Boom, pause, right? And then work this thing out. Don't have your old quiz next to you. Have another piece of paper, write down the problem, okay? And then just try it yourself. Everybody got that? And then once you try it yourself, then you can hit play or fast forward till I get to the part where I actually start doing the problem, right? And then it shows you how to do the problem. That's what you should be doing, everybody, all right? And I don't think as many people as should be are actually doing it. You know what I mean? All right? I think a few of you are, but I think there's too many are not doing what I'm suggesting you to do. So let's do it this time. So here we go. Now you can unpause and set y equal to 0. So if this is 0, what do I have then? I got 3x equals 12. How do I get x by itself? Divide by 3. I think I saw somebody, I can't remember, but I know at some point somewhere I saw somebody like subtract a 3. Okay? You can't subtract. What's the 3 doing to the x? It's multiplying. How do you get rid of something that's being multiplied? You divide. All right? So what's x equal to? But what's the actual point? See, an x and y intercept should be a point. And I think we've talked about this on several occasions, all right? But a lot of you didn't do this. A lot of you just put x equals 4. Now, if you put x equals 4, I gave it to you. Well, if you got them both, you had to get them both, all right? If you got the x and the y and you just put x equals, y equals, I gave it to you. But you should write it as an ordered pair, all right? So what is the first part of this? It's 4 because the x is 4. And we made the y what? 0. So that's the way you should write your answer because it's asking where is the point? Okay, what point is the x-intercept? It's at 4, 0. Everybody with me? All right, let's solve the y-intercept. So what do? We set the other one, the x equal to 0. So if I make that a 0 right there, what am I left with? Right, negative 4y equals 12. Some of you guys are forgetting when you divide, some people divided by 4 here. Do you divide by 4? You divide by negative 4 because you have to get rid of the negative as well. Divide by negative 4. 12 divided by negative 4 is negative 3. That's my y, or yeah, that's my y. I should have wrote it here. Y equals negative 3. So you write it as an ordered pair. The y right here is negative 3. What's the x? It's 0 because we set the x equal to 0. And that is the perfect way to do that problem. Again, some of you wrote x equals 4, y equals negative 3. I still gave it to you, but this is the way you should write it. Okay, here we go. Questions on that? Okay. All right, let's do this one. Slope-intercept form. Most of you guys did pretty well on number 2. Number 3, not so much. But number 2 was fairly easy, wasn't it? Really one step. What do we have to do? Slope-intercept form, we're going to get y by itself because it's y equals, what is the slope-intercept form? Mx plus b. How many times have I said since I've been teaching this, y equals mx plus b? A lot, okay? A lot. So you should know that. So we got to get y by itself. How do we do that? We get rid of that 3x. That 3x is being added, so how do I get rid of something that's being added? I subtract. Subtract a 3x. Remember what I do with that 1? I kind of push it over here to the side, and then I put the negative 3x in here. And that is how you want to write it. I had 1 or 2 people write 1 minus 3x, still gave it to you. But really, slope-intercept form, the x comes before the regular number, the b, the y-intercept. All right, so this is really how it should look, just like that. Y equals negative 3x plus 1. Most of you, if I remember, I didn't keep a tally of how many got which ones right, but just in my head when I graded it, I remember most of you got that right. This one, not so much. But it's really not as hard as what the answer looks like. The answer looks like it might be kind of hard, but really it's not that bad. So I got to get y by itself. So I'm going to get rid of the 11x this time. So I've got negative 8y equals, how do I get rid of the 11x? I subtract an 11x from both sides. Push this 48, this minus 48 over. All I did was get rid of this, and I put it in between the equals and that number. All right, that's all I did, just one step. I subtracted an 11x from both sides. Don't go negative 48 minus 11x. I mean, you can. It wouldn't necessarily be wrong, but it's so much better like this, okay? Put it right after the equal sign, the x. Why do I want to put it there? Because of my equation of the line. The slope-intercept has the x first, right, before you have that regular number here. All right.
Wait, why do you have to put 11x? Wait, so we put 11x in the middle because of...
It's not in the middle. It's to the right. I subtracted it from here. It went away. I took this, pushed it over a little bit, and stuck it in between the equals and here. By the middle, what do you mean? By in between like here and here?
Yeah.
Okay.
It started on...
Because...
in the front of the beginning.
Right, but look how I want to write my answer. I want to write my answer y equals something x, and then plus the number or minus the number. So the number is going to push over to the right where this is, and the whatever times x is going to be right after the equal sign. See how this is right after the equal sign? Mm-hmm. That's why I put this right after the equal sign. So it mirrors this. It looks like the equation. Okay? One more step, and you're almost done. Almost, because you got to simplify something here. So I want to get y by itself. What do I get rid of? We did it up there earlier. What do I have to get rid of here? Nobody's talking to me? The negative 8, thank you. All right, so negative 8. So I divide it by a negative 8. Why do I divide it? Why don't I just add it? It's a minus 8. Why don't I just put plus 8?
Because it's being multiplied.
That's right. A plus 8's not going to get rid of that. Okay, if I go negative y plus, or negative 8y plus 8, that doesn't get rid of the negative 8. Dividing it by a negative gets rid of it. We good with that? All right. So we got to do it to everything. I did it to the left side. I have to do that to everything. So I do that to this, and I do it to this. So that canceled out with that. So I'm left with y equals, look at this. What's a negative over negative? Positive. And I just write it 11 over 8 and then x. We don't have to change it to a decimal. I don't want it as a decimal. Some of you guys are just so... I don't know what would be the word. You just got to put it as a decimal, right? Don't write it as a decimal. In fact, this is a slope. It's a lot better as a fraction than it is as a decimal because I got to rise, I got to run. Would you agree? Yeah. All right, so it's a lot better to write it as a fraction. What's this? This is negative over negative. It's negative 48 divided by negative 8, so it's going to be a positive. So I put plus. Now, I can simplify that. What is 48 divided by 8? 6. And there you go. You're done. Good. Brielle got a division problem. All right. She was so excited about it. So there you go. Did you guys learn your multiplication tables when you were younger?
Yep.
Yeah. Did anybody grow up in a public school before they came here? Did you guys do multiplication tables at public school?
Yeah.
You did? All right. Good. Because I've heard stories that they don't make you learn your multiplication tables. Isaac? Till second grade, and then you didn't have to.
Me too.
And then you didn't have to learn them.
No.
You didn't have to use them after that.
No.
Doing backflips
Yes.
during your math class?
Yes.
Well, I hope that doesn't go on here. All right, here we go. Everybody good with that? Any questions on what we did there? That was a lot easier than what some of you guys made it, don't you think? Really wasn't that bad. But go over it again. Watch the video again. Listen to my steps. Try it yourself, okay? That's what you have to do. Don't just rely on this and then just take your whole weekend and just say, oh, Monday. Oh, yeah, we taking the test? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. No, you should be prepared. You should be ready, all right, to do this. All right, here we go. Standard form. Oh, my word. Standard form. All right, yeah. Oh, standard form. Here we go. We got a point and we got a slope. So I need to write an equation of a line. See, equation of a line. We're kind of used to the slope-intercept form, aren't we, for equation of a line? And we can do that. We can pursue. We can put it in the slope-intercept form. But then we got one more step after that. We got to change it from slope-intercept into standard form. All right? What is standard form, by the way?
AX plus BY equals C.
That's it. Okay? So that our final answer's got to be in that form. Again, I thought we harped on this enough, but I still saw people doing this. A, B, and C have to be what kind of a number? An integer, which means it cannot be a decimal or a fraction. Okay? I saw so many people writing this with a fraction. You can't have a fraction in standard form. Should I say that again? You cannot have a what? A fraction in standard form. All right? I thought we had that nailed down. I thought we understood that. But a lot of you are writing fractions in standard form. All right, we'll talk about how to put it in standard form in a second. So let's just use regular y equals mx plus b right now. So I'll even write it down. Y equals mx plus b. Look, I got 3 of these 4 letters, don't I? I've got an x right there, I've got a y, and I've got an m. So I'm just going to plug them in, solve for b, and then after that, I'm going to put it into standard form. So let's plug the stuff in. What am I plugging in for y?
2.
A 2 equals m, 7. What is that m and that x doing to each other? They're multiplying times x. What's x? It's a 1. And then plus b. Now I solve for b. 2 equals 7 plus b. Subtract a 7 from both sides. What's 2 minus 7?
Negative 5.
-5. So I'm not going to put it in standard form just yet. I'm going to put it back into that slope-intercept form, and then I'll put it into standard form. So I've got y equals, m, which is 7x plus b, or plus a negative, right, which is just minus 5. There's my slope. There's my y-intercept. Is that in standard form?
No.
It's not. So I need to make it look like that. So I need to have the x and the y on the left-hand side and then just the regular number on the right-hand side. All right? Well, I already got a y over here on the left-hand side. What else do I need on the left-hand side?
The X.
Well, the 7x, right. So how do I get rid of it? Subtract it. Subtract a 7x, subtract a 7x. All right, so what do I get? I get negative 7x plus y equals negative 5. All I did was take that 7x, moved it over to the left-hand side. But there's a little bit of a problem. We said that a, b, and c can't be fractions. They have to be integers. But what more specifically has to be true about the a?
Must be positive.
It's got to be positive. Is it positive right now?
No.
Nope, it's not positive. So you can't leave it like that. So how do I get rid of that negative? That's right, change all the signs, all right? If I change that from negative to a positive, I'm basically just multiplying by a negative, right? Or dividing by a negative. So what am I going to get? I get 7x. It's going to be positive, right? But if I change this one, I got to change everything else. Remember in algebra, whatever you do to one side, you got to do to everything else. All right, so if I change this, I got to change this. So what am I going to get? Minus y. And I got to change this as well. What's that going to be? Positive 5. And that is in standard form. let's move on because we got a lot to cover, all right? Let's do the same thing with this. Same exact thing, except what's a little bit of a problem here?
We have a fraction.
Yeah, you got a fraction. Nobody likes fractions, right? But let's try to overcome that fear of fractions. So let's put everything in here. Y equals mx plus b. So the y is 5 equals m, which is 5/3, times x. X is 3. Wow, look at this. I can see right away I'm going to get rid of my fraction, aren't I?
Yeah.
See how nice they were? They probably rigged this a little bit so that they would go away. And then plus b. Why am I good with this?
Because you can cancel the 2 3's out.
That's right. The 3's cancel out. Everybody see that?
Yeah.
Right? You don't have to go 15 over 3. If you did, what's 15 over 3? It's just 5 anyway, isn't it? Isn't it a lot easier, though, just canceling out the 3's? Sure. So what do I get? 5 equals 5 plus b. Subtract a 5 from both sides. What's b?
0.
0. So b is 0. So let's write it. Y equals mx plus b. So y equals m, 5/3, x plus b, which is just a 0. You don't even need to put the plus 0. Is that in standard form, though?
No.
Nope. Why not? Couple things. 2 things.
Because the x and the y are on different sides.
Okay, you got the x and y on different sides, and what else?
They're
The fraction. Exactly right, the fraction. So let's do this. Yes. Yeah, I stood right in front of you. I said, anybody else have the homework? But thanks for watching. Okay, so look, how in the world do I change this to look like this? Well, you could do a couple things. You could put everything on the left, or, watch this. You could take that y and put it over here, couldn't you? So what do I get then? 5/3 x minus y equals 0. Do you agree? See, I decided I could have moved this over, but then I'd have a negative 5/3 x, wouldn't I? All right, and then I could still have gotten rid of the negative, and I'd still end up with this. But I thought I could do it in one step. Just take that y, put it over here. This is going to be a 0, so 5/3 x minus y equals 0. I just wrote it like that. Is that in standard form? It's not. Some of you left it just like this, and I had to mark it wrong because the problem says specifically write it in standard form. So what makes this not in standard form? The fraction. So I got to get rid of, do I have to get rid of the whole entire 5/3? No, just the denominator, okay? I don't want the denominator there. So how do I get rid of that denominator? This is the hardest part of both of these problems right here. And it's really not that hard. Cameron, go ahead. What do I do?
What I did was I multiplied the 5/3 by 3/1.
Yes, that's what I'm going to do. All right, so I want to get rid of that 3 on the bottom. So how can I cancel out that 3? Well, if I multiplied by a 3, right, 3/1, then the 3's will cancel out. Agreed?
Yeah.
But I can't just multiply that by a 3. What else do I have to multiply by a 3? Everything else, that's right. So I multiplied that by 3. I got to multiply that by a 3. And technically, I got to multiply that by a 3 as well. But what is 0 times 3? It's just 0 anyway. All right, we're almost ready. We're just about to write it in standard form. Look what happens. Those 3's cancel. What am I left with here? 5x. Minus, remember this was a minus. It's kind of sloppy, but minus 3y equals 0 times 3, which is 0. Now, is that in standard form? Absolutely. Okay, because this is positive. They're all integers, set equal to something. And 0 is something. All right? All right, let's keep going. Got a lot more to do. Yeah, let's just do this. Again, we're writing an equation of a line, the slope-intercept form of an equation of a line. So y equals mx plus b. This is very close to what we just did, except they don't tell you one thing. What did they tell you in this problem? What did they tell you in this problem that they don't tell you in this one? The slope. All right, so we got to find the slope. So, should be kind of easy. How do I find the slope? Change in y over change in x. Remember, Again, I remember somebody putting the x on the top and the y on the bottom. It's not run over rise. What is it? It's rise over the run. Rise is the y direction. That goes on top. X is the run direction, okay, or the run is the x direction, and that goes on the bottom. You have to subtract the y's and put it on top. You got it? I'm grading these things and I'm looking at it, I'm like, ugh. It just frustrates me because we've talked about it so many times, all right? You got to pay attention. You got to study it. You got to look at it, all right? I want you to get these right. So let's subtract the y's from each other. Doesn't matter what order you subtract them in. Let's do this minus this. Is that all right? Those are the y's, correct? So I go 6 minus 0. Now I subtract the x's. This is 3 minus 6. 6 minus 0 is 6. 3 minus 6 is negative 3. What's 6 divided by negative 3? It's negative 2. So that, what did I just find? I found the slope, all right? Again, it's very, very similar to this problem, except this one, they actually told you what the slope was. This one, we had to figure it out ourselves. So now, we got the slope, and we have a point. In fact, we have more than just one point. We got 2 points. Does it matter which point that we use? It doesn't make any difference, okay? Which one would you rather use, 3, 6 or 6, 0? Yeah, I'd probably use 6, 0. You could use either one. It doesn't make any difference. So let's use that one right there. When I say use it, what am I using it for? I'm taking that x and y and I'm plugging it in to y equals mx plus b. All right?
Nathaniel Isaias and Makai Richmond to the office, please.
So,
Montgomery to the office as well.
so watch. I'm plugging everything that I know into this. We just did 2 problems like this. So what is the y? If I pick this point right here, what is the y? It's 0 equals m, which is negative 2. I just found it, times the x, which is 6, and then plus b. This is negative 12. Let's do a little bit in our head just because of time. This is negative 12, but I want to move it to the other side, so I add a 12. So what's b? It's 12. Okay? Now this one, do I have to put this in standard form? Nope, because what does it say? Write the what? Slope-intercept form. So once I put it in slope-intercept form, I'm finished. And look, I got a slope, I got a y-intercept, I just put them together, and bang, I got an answer. Here we go. Y equals negative 2x plus 12, and that's your answer. It's as easy as that. Now, I get accused all the time of saying stuff's easy. Everybody, Mr. Hamrick, you're the teacher. Of course it's easy for you. But really, was there anything that difficult in what we just did right there? There really wasn't. So would you agree with me that that was fairly easy? Yeah. I mean, you got to know what's going on. You got to know about slope and all that kind of stuff, plugging stuff in. Sure, there's a lot of stuff you need to know, but I got to take a call. Hold on. Hello.
Hey, Mr. Hammer.
Hey,
Are you tonight?
I am.
Hey, wait, sorry. So, you know how you do, thank you, but do you know what time it starts?
I don't. I was going to find out.
It's starting at
6:15?
6:15. Yeah, we have 20 minutes.
Wow. Okay. 6:15. All right, I'll be there.
So, see, you know how you're usually taking pictures in front of things out of the tunnel?
Yeah.
I asked Peyton if she can kind of see where they stash people in the center.
Okay.
Right. Is it possible? She's like, I'm not sure how they're gonna come out because I didn't talk to the first lady. Is it possible to like look at her camera
Oh, yeah, I'll check it.
tonight?
Yep.
Set the setting?
Yeah, yeah. Not a problem. Just have her find me. Okay. All right, sure thing. Bye. All right, here we go. What are we doing? Do we need to do that one?
No.
It's a little more complicated because it does come out with a couple fractions. All right, I guess we should do this one. All right, I'm gonna go pretty quick on this one. Okay.
Yeah, we could do everyone but the last one.
You're good with that one?
Yeah,
Okay. All right, so here we go. Everybody watch. So we find the slope. So it's going to be 4 minus negative 8. And then it's going to be 5 minus what? Negative 3. Minus a negative is plus, that's 12. Minus a negative right here is plus, so that's 8. We simplify it. 4 goes into both of those, right? 3 times, 2 times. So that's your slope. Just leave it like that. Don't make it 1.5. Don't make it 1.5. Keep it 3 over 2. All right? Now we put it into y equals mx plus b. Pick a point. What point would you rather use? Definitely that one, right? Because they're both positive. Sure. Could you use this one?
Yes.
Absolutely. Okay, and you still get the same equation. It's crazy that you use 2 points. As long as the point lies on the line, it doesn't matter what point you pick. All right, this is a little easier because it's both positive. So let's plug everything in. Y is 4 equals m, which is 3 over 2, times x, which is 5. I'm going to put it over 1 since I'm multiplying it by a fraction, plus b. Right? This actually is not as hard as what you'd think it would be. Unfortunately, nothing cancels, does it? So I just multiply straight across. 3 times 5 is 15 over 2, and then plus b. Here's the part that everybody doesn't like, is adding and subtracting fractions. But watch, it's not near as bad as what you think. How would I get rid of that 15 over 2? Subtract a 15 over 2. So I come over here and I subtract a 15 over 2. I don't need to do it here. I know it's going to go away, right? Okay. But 4 minus 15 over 2. Logan, you're right. You got to find a common denominator. And what would that be? It would be 2. So I write it as 8 over 2. Would you agree 8 over 2 is the same thing as 4? Yes. So now I could subtract these. It's 8 over 2 minus 15 over 2. So b is, what's 8 minus 15? Negative 7, but it's over 2. Look at that. I got both things that I need to write the equation of a line. That was all the fractions that were involved. Really wasn't that bad, right? Finding a common denominator, and especially when it was just 2, 8 over 2 is 4. It's not a complicated fraction. Do I have some room here? Let's write it right here. Y equals, what's the slope? 3 over 2, and then what? A lot of you guys are forgetting to put the x, well, not a lot. I noticed it once or twice, so it's not a lot. But some are forgetting to put the x and the y here. You're just giving me like numbers and no x's and y's. So your final answer has to have a y and an x in it. And then what's the y-intercept? Minus 7 over 2. So that is your answer. Make sense? What'd you do, Livia?
I accidentally flipped one of the fractions. I don't know why.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Well, you won't do it on the test though, will you?
Nope.
Okay, good. All right, let's do this one. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, when's the test?
Monday. All right. You got a whole weekend. All right, here we go. Well, that's what happens. Got to keep up. All right, here we go. This is kind of the same thing as what we just did. All right, it's asking you something a little different because it's asking for a line that's parallel to this line. But everybody, look. What did I find first on all the last 4 problems? What was, well, actually the 2 before this you didn't have to find it because they gave it to you, but they kind of give it to you here, right? What did we find here first? I found the slopes. Do I know the slope of this line right here?
Yes.
What is the slope?
Negative 5x.
It's not 5x. It's just negative 5. Just negative 5. That's the slope. Why do I care about the slope of that line? Because the line that I'm trying to figure out is what to that line?
Parallel.
It's parallel. And what do we know about parallel lines? They have the same what? They have the same slope. So if the slope of this line is negative 5, what's the slope of our line? It's negative 5. Okay? Now that's different with perpendicular. And again, I remember sitting there. Was it this morning? I think I graded them this morning. All right? So it's kind of fresh in my mind. On the perpendicular, are the slopes the same? No. It's a lot of people, okay, and I will say a lot this time. A lot of people made the slopes the same. It's not the same. But if it's parallel, yes. We'll get to perpendicular in a second, okay? If it's parallel, the slopes are the same. So now I just do the same thing that I've done the last 4 problems. I got a point, I got a slope, now I just write the slope-intercept form of that equation. Okay? I'm not going to write y equals mx plus b, if I could talk. Y equals mx plus b again. You already know that. So what is the y? Take a look at that point. It's the only point we have. Yeah, so it's 4 equals m. What's the m? Negative 5 times x. What's the x? Negative 1 plus what? B. So 4 equals, negative times a negative is positive 5 plus b. Subtract a 5 from both sides. So what is b? It's negative 1. There's my slope. There's my y-intercept. Now I can write the equation. Y equals negative 5x minus 1. And that is the equation of a line that goes through this point and is parallel to this line right there. Number 9 is very, very similar, except for one thing. This is what? Perpendicular. So I got to find the slope of this line. Now, they didn't write it in slope-intercept form, but I can put it in slope-intercept form. All right, let's do it. Subtract a 4x from both sides, so I get negative. I'm going to go through this quickly because we've already done this a couple times. Bring the 4x to the other side. Divide everything by a negative 1. So that's the equation of that line. What am I looking for on that one? I'm looking for the slope. Now, the slope of that line is 4. What's the slope of the line that I'm trying to find? That's right. So the slope of the line that I'm trying to find, the perpendicular line, is negative 1 over 4. It's what a lot of you guys are forgetting to do. Perpendicular, it's not the same slope, it's the negative reciprocal, right? This is 4 over 1, so I flip it 1/4, and I change the sign. It was positive, I make it negative. That's where I got this. Okay, so I got negative 1/4. And so many, I wouldn't say the majority, not most, but so many, too many, wrote the slope as a 4 here. It's not, because it's perpendicular. Are we getting this? Okay, don't make that mistake on the test, right? I'm showing you where a lot of you guys made the mistake. Don't repeat that on the test. Make sure you fix it. Okay, now we got a slope and we got a point. And now we put it into the slope-intercept form. This is like the, what, 5th time today we've done this? 6th time maybe that we've done this today? So let's do it again. Y equals mx plus b. What's the y? Negative 3. Equals the m. What's the m? It's negative 1/4. Times the x. What's the x? It's 2 plus b. Everybody see where I'm getting that from? I'm getting it from y equals mx plus b. You could write it in there if you wanted to. I just think we've done it enough where you don't have to do that. What happens here? That 2 goes into that 4 2 times. So I've got negative 3 equals negative 1/2 plus b. Let's get rid of the 1/2, get b by itself. So I'm going to add a 1/2. So I've got, let's just do it like this. Negative 3, right, plus 1/2. And that's going to equal b. All right? I'm doing it kind of weird, but that's okay. In order to add those together, what do I need to do? Find a common denominator. And just like the other one, the denominator is 2. So what's this though? 1 times 2, negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. So now I can add these together. Negative 6 over 2 plus 1 over 2 is what? Negative 5 over 2, and that's what b is equal to. So now I just got to put it all together. What do I have? I got a slope, I got a y-intercept. Now it's just a matter of writing the equation of the line. My math is over. I'm done with figuring stuff out. I just put it in order. So y equals m. What's the m? Negative 1/4. Then you put an x right there. What's the b? It's negative 5 over 2. Did I ever use a decimal? No. Don't you do it. All right? Some of you got this right. You put 2.5, 2.5. I gave it to you. But it's just way better just to keep it like this. If I was to graph it, yeah, sure, you would want to know that it's 2.5 because I got to go over 2 and up a half, right? Or actually, I just go up 2 and half another one, okay? But for just writing the equation of a line, just keep it like that. Make sense? Yes. All right, let's do this. I know you said don't do it, but I'm going to do it anyway. if you have to go for your cheerleading thing, go ahead. I'm going to try to finish up as much as I can. All right, here we go. It's like a marathon review session. But wouldn't you rather have a review than not have a review? Okay. So if I want to graph this, I'm going to put it in y equals mx plus b. We've done this half dozen times. Subtract a 4x from both sides. Why did I stick it in there in the middle? Because I want it y equals mx plus b. So I can see my slope, and I can see my y-intercept. Divide everything by 2. So y equals negative 4 over 2 is negative 2x plus 10 over 2 is 5. We're not done. Okay, we want to graph it. So how do I graph this? Well, this is my y-intercept, and this is my slope. So first thing I do is graph the y-intercept. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'll tell you what, let's make this a little bit bigger. And the slope is negative 2. So I'm going to go down 2 to the right 1. That's negative 2, isn't it? Negative 2, oops. Get this work. Oh, come on. Negative 2 over 1. All right? Since those points are so close together, I'm going to do a couple more. Watch how simple it is. This is what I do, okay? Even if you got it wrong and I put the graph on there, you'll see all these dots on there. Down 2 to the 1, down to 1, down to 1, down to 1. You see that? They're stretched out a little bit more so I can be a little bit more accurate. Oops. Right there. And we'll take this out to there. And there you go. There's your graph. Okay? All right. Everybody good?
Yeah.
All right. Now, let's look at all that stuff we did. All right. Here we go. Oh, my goodness. Don't get me started on what I was thinking when I saw some of these answers. We went over this and over this. Alternate interior angles are equal. Consecutive interior angles are supplementary. They add up to 180. Corresponding angles are also equal. Now look, all these things, the only one that's not equal is the consecutive interior angles. All right? Everything else is equal, and that's what I was asking. When we reviewed for this quiz, I said you're going to either say equal or supplementary. And then I got all these other answers. I got all these other words in there. And I said on the review, the only two words that I want are equal or supplementary. And I said the consecutive interior angles are the ones that's supplementary. Everything else is equal, right? I've practically given all the answers to you, aren't I? Even before the quiz, before you took the quiz the first time, I pretty much gave it to you. You just got to listen and take it in and use that information. All right, here we go. Let's keep going. We're going to use that, all that stuff right there, we're going to use that to figure out these answers right here. It says find angle 6 right there. If angle 4 is 53 degrees. So this angle is 53 degrees. So you have to look at them and decide, what are they? Are they alternate interior? Are they consecutive interior? Are they corresponding? Are they alternate exterior? What's the relationship between 6 and 4? They're supplementary. That's right. So if they're supplementary, I'm going to go 180, what? Minus 53. And that's what? 127. 127. And that's it. Put degree symbol, all right, because it's an angle. Enough of that. All right, let's get rid of this because I want to draw on this again. Okay, now let's take a look at this one. Angle 7 and angle 2. Let's look at the relationship between angle 7 and angle 2. They are, what's that? Right past. 7 and 2. They are equal because they are alternate exterior angles. That's right. Alternate exterior angles are equal to each other. All right, so they're equal to each other. So that means that this is equal to this. Agreed?
Yeah.
So let's set them equal. I'm going to put the 12x first. I like the bigger number on the left. All right, it doesn't matter, but I like it like this better. So 12x minus 68 equals 8x plus 4. That's the geometry. The rest is just math. All right, that's the geometry, is setting them equal to each other. So let's get the x's on the same side. So I subtract an 8x and I subtract an 8x right here. All right, and what am I going to, let's do this in the same step. I got the x on the left-hand side. You guys ever do this in the same step?
Yes.
Yeah, I like to do that in the same step. All right, and what do you have? 12x minus 8x is 4x. That cancels. This cancels. I got equals. What's this? 72, right? And then, what's that? 18? Yep, so divide both sides by 4, and x is 18. Is that my answer? Do I circle it? Some of you guys did, all right? But that's not your answer. What are we trying to find?
Angle 7.
Angle 7. So what do I do with that 18?
You plug it in.
Plug it in, that's right. Technically, if I wanted to, I could plug it into this one. Why? Because they're equal to each other. They're the same, okay? If that's a little easier for you, you can plug it into there. But since it does say 7, let's put it into here. So I would go 12 times 18 minus 68. You can use a calculator. 12 times 18, I have no idea what that is off the top of my head. But you can use a calculator, then subtract 68 from there, and you get 148 degrees. And technically, you should write angle 7 equals. There you go. And circle it. Some of you guys got all this work, and you're sliding in 148 somewhere where I can barely see it. All right, so circle it so you know where it is. All right, here we go. The 3 big things. Number 8 should be super easy now, shouldn't it? For the slope, because we've done slope so many times. All right, distance and midpoint we haven't used near as much, but let's do it quickly. The distance formula. You've got to know the distance formula. I'll write it down for you. And if you don't have it memorized, you haven't done enough. You just haven't done enough. All right, if you don't have it memorized. This is up to you. I can't give you everything. Okay, there are things that you've got to memorize, and this is one of them. Distance formula is x1 minus x2, y1 minus y2. Does not matter. Doesn't matter because you're going to square it anyway, right? So whether it comes out positive or negative, when you square it, it's always going to come out positive. So it does not matter what order you subtract them in. They don't have to be in the same order. That's the thing. Well, you got to do the x's, right? You have to subtract the x's and you have to subtract the y's. No, it doesn't have to be in the same order. Okay, it doesn't. Or you could go x2 minus x1. It doesn't make any difference because the only thing different in subtracting them in a different order is one's going to be positive, one's going to be negative. But what happens when you square it? When you square a negative, it becomes positive, right? When you square a positive, it becomes positive. So it doesn't matter. That's my point. Everybody got that? Yeah. Okay, so we subtract. Let's do this. I always like to do this and then just throw the numbers in. All right, so subtract the x's. 3 minus 9 or 9 minus 3. Let's go 9 minus 3, okay? We'll go the bigger one minus the smaller one. Okay, and then subtract the y's. The y is 2 minus 10, or you could go what? 10 minus 2. Again, it doesn't matter. So 9 minus 3 is 6. What's 6 squared? 36. Plus, some of you guys are missing that. Some of you guys are putting a minus here and a plus here. You got to keep it straight. Make sure that you know that you're subtracting these two and you're adding this one. Okay, 10 minus 2 is 8. What's 8 squared? 64. It's under a square root. 36 and 64 is 100. Square root of 100 is 10, and that's it right there. Okay? If you left it a square root of 100, I believe I gave it to you. All right? Some of you guys wrote square root of 10. No, square root of 100 is not the same thing as square root of 10. Square root of 100 is the whole number 10. You with me? Yeah. Okay, let's do number 7. Midpoint. Midpoint's pretty easy. If you remember what the midpoint is. When we first did midpoint, I warned you guys. I said some of you guys are going to write the answer as just like one number. But a midpoint is not just one number. What is it? It's a coordinate. It's an ordered pair, isn't it? All right? And some of you guys aren't even doing that. You got to know what the midpoint is. And I warned you when we first went over this. So what is the midpoint formula? It's an ordered pair. All right? So I add the x's. And again, does it matter what order I add the x's in? No, because if I add two numbers, it doesn't matter if I go 3 plus 2 or 2 plus 3, does it? Doesn't make any difference. And then I do the y's. y1 plus y2 over 2. And that's all you do. So take the x's. So it's 14 plus negative 6. What's plus negative 6? It's just minus 6. I didn't put a minus because that's a minus. Everybody got that? It's a plus a negative, which is minus. And then put that over 2. Let's do the y's. Negative 3 plus 21. Negative 3. Oops, it didn't look like a 3. Negative 3. Oh, my word. Seems like the end of the day, my little writing pad thing here goes crazy. Negative 3 plus 21. I think I overdid it today, maybe. All right, here we go. 14 minus 6, what's that? 8. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Negative 3 plus 21 is 18 divided by 2 is, and that's your answer. And look how it's written. It's written as a what? As an ordered pair. It's not just a number. It's not going to be 13. It's not going to be the square root of 7. It's going to be an ordered pair with an x and with a y. We good?
Yeah.
All right. I'm saying all this. It's being recorded so I can go back and say, I told you. All right. But I don't want to have to say that. I want you to get it right the first time. Slope. Slope should be a piece of cake right now, shouldn't it? How do I find the slope? Changing y or changing x. Now it does matter what order I subtract them in. Okay? Absolutely. Okay. So subtract the y's from each other. Let's go. I like to go the first one minus the second one. Do you? Or does it matter? Doesn't matter. Negative 1, I'm going to do it like that. Negative 1 minus 2. And then let's do the x's. In the same order. All right, negative 7 minus 8. That's negative 3. That's negative 15. That's positive. 3 over 15 is 1 over 5, and that's your slope. Now, it's important to know how to do the slope to be able to do 9 and 10. There's no way you can do 9 and 10 if you can't find the slope, because you're going to have to do it twice on each problem. You have to find the slope twice here, the slope twice here. So altogether, you're finding the slope 5 different times just on this quiz. Okay, so finding the slope is important. Let's find the slope of AB. So AB is negative 3, 4, and 3, 2. So let's find the slopes of them both. Because it says, tell whether they're parallel, perpendicular, or neither. If they're parallel, we're comparing the slopes, right? If the slopes are the same, then it's parallel. If the slopes are negative reciprocals of each other, then it's perpendicular. That's what we're looking for. Yes? All right. I know I'm going a long time. Sorry. But I think it's important, okay? We got to get this whole thing in as a review. All right? Maybe like tomorrow, you get an hour of time to yourself. Get the computer, get your phone, get your laptop, whatever you got, and then watch just one of these quizzes. And then maybe on Sunday, okay, after the Eagles whoop who are they playing? The Vikings, right? They're playing the Vikings. After they whoop the Vikings, then put your computer on, all right, and celebrate the Eagles win by watching one of my videos, all right? Yes, sir. I can't hear you. What do you say? Oh, the Eagles still going to win. Don't worry. All right, here we go. Enough editorializing. AB, find the slope of AB. All right, we just did slope. So 4 minus 2 is 2. Negative 3 minus 3 is negative 6. What is that? That's negative 1/3. Now, that's the slope of AB. Now let's find the slope of CD, these two right here. See how quick and easy it is once you know how to find the slopes?
Yeah.
And if you know your arithmetic, it's easy, all right? So let's subtract the y's again. Negative 4, now this is a little complicated. Negative 4 minus what? Negative 3. It's minus a negative. What's going to happen with that? It's going to add. It's a weird 3, but that's a 3, all right? And then the x's, again, CD. 1 minus negative 2. 1 minus negative 2. That's going to be plus. That's supposed to be a 3. Negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1. and then that's going to be an add. 1 plus 2 is 3. Check them out. Negative 1/3, negative 1/3. What kind of lines are these? These are parallel. Okay? One more and we'll be done, okay? I'll beat the clock. I can't believe I've done this whole thing. All right, AE. Let's do AE. There's A and there's E. So it's negative 3, 4. If you want, you could always put them next to each other. And then E is 0, 3. My pen thing is really acting weird. So let's find the slope of AE. Again, it's 4 minus 3, which is 1. It's negative 3 minus 0, which is negative 3. So look, all three of those are parallel, aren't they? But is AE parallel to BC? Well, where's BC? It's these two right here. What's that? That's 3, 2, and 1, negative 4. Should be a pro at finding the slope after doing all these. So let's do it. Subtract the y's. 2 minus, let's write it out. 2 minus negative 4. And let's do the x's. 3 minus 1 is 2. Minus a negative is plus. 2 plus 4 is 6 over 2. That's 3. Now let's compare them. I got negative 1/3 and I got positive 3. What does that tell me about those two lines? They are perpendicular. Because they're negative reciprocals, correct. And there you go. That's your answer right there. If all you do is just write parallel and perpendicular, I'm marking it wrong. Okay, because you didn't show. I got to show, I have to see that this and this are equal, and I got to see that this and this are negative reciprocals. Okay, if you just take a wild guess and put perpendicular, I'm marking it wrong. Okay, if you show me how you got it and you put perpendicular, then good, you got it right. Whew, you got that done. How about that? Everybody still awake?
Yep.
All right, good. All right, that's it. Test is on Monday, and please be ready for it, okay? Put some time and effort into it. I want some good grades, all right? I don't like to mark problems wrong. I like putting those check marks. You see, you like seeing check marks on your quizzes and tests? I like writing them. It's more fun than writing an X. An X just seems so, I don't know, just so dark and bad. X, brah. But putting a check, it's so fun, right? I love doing that. But I only love doing it if you get it right. So make sure you get them right, okay? All right, enough of that. Have a good weekend.